What's up, guys? NBA Talk. It's time to talk about that Toronto trade that went down yesterday, which is very interesting, very intriguing indeed for Toronto moving forward because they're really trying to get to the finals. They're really trying to at least get to the conference finals and go on to represent the East in the NBA finals for sure with this trade. They acquire Marc Gasol from the Memphis Grizzlies. Of course, it's clear as day that the Memphis Grizzlies are rebuilding. They're starting all over again. They're getting rid of the squad. Randolph was rid of already. Marc Gasol now is got rid of, and now soon to be Mike Conley. But of course, they missed the trade deadline. They were unable to do so. Because Utah was definitely trying to get a bid for that, but couldn't get that deal done. So Marc Gasol was the only one left, was the only one getting traded off to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for Valanciunas, Delon Wright, C.J. Miles, and a 2024 second round draft pick, which is crazy, because if you really look at it, it's sort of it pretty much says that Toronto won that deal. Toronto won that deal. They got a all-star, one of the top centers in the game of basketball, a guy who could shoot the ball inside and out. Not necessarily threes, I don't believe, but like, at least he could spread the floor just as much as Valanciunas did. He's a decent defensive player, even though he dropped down a little bit. He's a great passer. He's one of the best passers for a big man in the game of basketball, for sure. So there's definitely going to get some more pick and roll action, some more open looks for other players, because they're going to have to concentrate on Marc Gasol now. You could say that he could be a second option. Kawhi Leonard number 1, Marc Gasol number 2, Kyle Lowry number 3, or interchangeable between Marc Gasol and Kyle Lowry. That's looked like a good roster, and definitely so. It's clear they're going for the big time. Right now they're in second place in the Eastern Conference. They've been slipping a little bit for this past month. Milwaukee Bucks have been on the rise. They're number 1, even though both teams are tied up for 40 wins. Milwaukee has less losses, so that makes them number 1 seed. Very close in terms of what they're doing right now. They're good on defense. They're good on offense. Both teams are doing that, but Toronto is just like a dash lower right now, and they're trying to get themselves back up on top, and they got rid of a lot of pieces, which is one of the big concerns about this. If you're a Toronto Raptors fan, you have to listen to this. You have to look at Marc Gasol. He is no spring chicken. He is no spring chicken. He has been dealing with injuries for the last couple seasons. Like, I don't think there's been a part where he had a full season in a while. You also have a situation at the center position where who do you have to take out? Because you have Siakam, you have Serge Ibaka, and you got Marc Gasol. Somebody has to go down on the bench. Siakam needs to be in that starting lineup because he's that new dude who is doing absolutely well. You saw what he did with Atlanta last game yesterday. He was phenomenal, a career high 30-plus points. He's just doing phenomenally on the offensive end and the defensive end. He is definitely a candidate of most improved player of the year, so you cannot get rid of his momentum. Not now. However, Serge Ibaka, there could be a change right there. Serge Ibaka has some games coming off the bench, and he still did well. But will it affect the ego? Will it affect the ego of Serge Ibaka or having Marc Gasol come off the bench? We don't know what that's going to do. Also, another thing, the bench itself. It took a hit. Delon Wright, Valanciunas, C.J. Miles. That's a big core of the bench taken out. You have Fred VanVleet, who was awesome last night as well, putting up 30-plus points. And, of course, Kyle Lowry is still here. He didn't get traded. That's something that you have to look at. The bench, it might not be the same at all. I don't know who you can really rely on other than Fred VanVleet, one of the centers. You're definitely going to need some help. You definitely need some help on the bench because the bench has been one of the biggest parts of the Toronto Raptors' surge because they have a bench they can rely on. Depth. We don't know what's going to happen. So there's a lot of questions involved. It seemed like a very good trade. If everything could pull off, you can see yourself definitely in the Eastern Conference Finals. Against a Milwaukee Bucks, a Boston Celtics, that might be a problem for sure. So that's it. Peace.